can an AI actually change your mind? I mean, really change it, on a massive scale about big, important issues? It's a question that, causes a lot of anxiety. And for the longest time, we've just been guessing. But not anymore. A huge, groundbreaking new study just gave us the first real, data-driven answers. Okay, let's dive into this.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the AI persuasion problem itself. Then we'll debunk a couple of big myths about what makes an AI so convincing. From there, we'll get into the real secret of its influence, expose a really dangerous trade-off, and finally talk about what all this means for the future. For years, pretty much everyone has been worried that AI could be used to influence what we believe in some pretty unprecedented ways. But we've been running on fumes, without any real, hard evidence. Well, that's where this new research comes in. It finally sets out to figure out what actually makes conversational AI persuasive.
And this isn't some niche tech world concern. This quote from the study really nails the feeling perfectly. The fear is that the same tech that helps you write an email could also be used to sway elections or shift public opinion on a massive scale. We have to understand that.
Now, to get real answers, the researchers went big. I mean, really big. They got almost 77,000 people to have conversations with AIs about hundreds of different political topics. That scale is just incredible, and it gives these findings a ton of weight.
And they didn't just test one AI. Nope, they put 19 different models through their paces. We're talking everything from smaller open-source models anyone can get their hands on, all the way up to the absolute cutting-edge frontier models like GPT-4o. The whole shebang.
And here's where it gets really wild. They didn't just see if people's opinions changed. They went deep, analyzing nearly 500,000 fact-checkable claims the AIs made to see if they were even accurate. The level of detail here is just staggering.
So, with all that incredible data, what did they find? What is it that actually makes an AI good at changing our minds? Well, the first thing the results do is completely bust two of our biggest and most common fears.
Okay, myth number one. It's all about brute force, right? The bigger and more powerful the AI model, the better it must be at persuading people. That's the assumption anyway. But is it true?
Okay, look at this, because the answer is fascinating. The study found that making a model 10 times bigger only gave it a tiny 1.6% bump in persuasiveness. But look at that second bar, post-training. That's when developers fine-tune a model after its main training, kind of like giving it a specific rulebook to follow. That gave it a 3.5% boost. So the takeaway is huge. How an AI is tweaked is way more important than just its raw size.
All right, so if it's not about size, it must be about personalization. This is the other big fear, right? The idea that an AI will hoover up your personal data, your age, your politics, everything, and then craft this perfectly tailored argument just to manipulate you.
But again, the data tells a totally different story. Even when the AI was fed personal info, the persuasive boost was, well, surprisingly small. So what does that mean? It suggests our biggest privacy fear, this idea of an irresistible, custom-built argument, might be a little overblown. For now, it's just not the AI's most effective weapon.
Okay, so if it's not the raw size, and it's not that creepy personalization, then what is the secret sauce? What's the real lever that makes these things so persuasive? The answer is actually so simple, it's almost funny. Researchers tested all these different strategies, and this slide shows the clear winner. It wasn't about telling stories or appealing to emotion. The most effective strategy was just telling the AI to cram its arguments full of facts, evidence, and information. That one little change in the prompt made the AI a whopping 27% more persuasive.
And this all boils down to a key concept they call information density. It's really just the number of fact-checkable claims an AI spits out. Across all the tests, this was the single biggest predictor of success. It seems the more information, or what looks like information, an AI throws at you, the more likely you are to be convinced.
But, and this is a huge but, this is where the whole thing takes a very sharp and honestly, a very concerning turn. Because this super effective strategy of just flooding people with information, it comes with a hidden and really dangerous price.
So it turns out, when you optimize an AI purely to be persuasive, you create this unexpected and really troubling side effect. There is a serious catch to making it a better debater, and it has everything to do with the very information it's using to win us over. So, just to quickly recap, we know that telling an AI to load up on facts and info makes it way more persuasive than anything else. That's the winning playbook. Simple enough.
But now look at this. This is the bombshell. That exact same prompt, the one that makes the AI so good at persuading you, also makes its factual accuracy plummet. With other prompts, a model like GPT-4o was accurate about 78% of the time, but when you push it to be persuasive with that information prompt, its accuracy drops to just 62%. So the very technique that makes it convincing also makes it less truthful.
And that brings us to the future, and what these findings really mean for all of us. The implications here are, well, they're huge for how we need to think about AI's role in our lives.
All right, so let's just boil this all down. First, the real power isn't in the AI's size, it's in how we train and talk to it. Second, the secret sauce is information density, just overwhelming you with a fire hose of claims. Third, and this is the most critical part, there's a direct trade-off. What makes AI more persuasive also makes it lie more. And that means the real threat isn't some super intelligent AI that outsmarts us, it's a dumber one that just drowns us in a flood of believable-sounding nonsense.
Which leaves us with a final, massive question. We now know that the road to a more persuasive AI is also the road to a less truthful one. So, as these systems get woven into every part of our lives, who is actually responsible for making sure they're telling the truth? That's a question we all need to start thinking about, and fast.